Hello everyone, I'm going to walk you through the breaking and entering trophy. It requires you to recover the stash from 4 homesteads. Now I'm going to show you all 7 homesteads, starting with the first one, Chez Porter. This one is actually tied to a companion activity that you can get in Chapter 2 at the first camp. Now you can do it as part of the companion activity, or you can do it out on your own if you'd like. In either case, you're going to want to find this homestead way up north of Valentine. We're going to go across the river. You can see the location, the waypoint marker here. Now you're going to see there's a collection of buildings here. That back building's a barn, and that is where I'm going to find the stash. Now, again, I'm doing this as a companion. You can do this on your own if you like, but inside the barn is going to be the stash. It could be actually in a couple different places. Now, some people say the trophy is bugged, and those people say that you just need to loot everything. So the barn and the other houses, and that's the same for all the different homesteads. Now, just really quick, I'm going to climb up this ladder. You can see there was some little loot back here in the corner in that chest, but my stash itself is actually going to be in the back corner of the bar. We're going to move the crate here, and we're going to find it in the ground. So that is the first stash that I located at the first homestead. Now the second one I'm going to do is part of Chapter 3, the second camp you go to. This is actually another companion activity. This one I'm doing with Sean, and we're going to go to Lonnie's shack. Lonnie's shack is going to be right here on the map on the far eastern side of the world. And you can see Lonnie's shack here, and if you zoom in close enough, you will see the building. So go to that marker. Again, I'm doing this as a companion activity. You can do it solo as well, just by yourself. Now, with this one, you have to kill everyone. There's about 4 or 5 different guys here. You have to kill everyone except for the last guy. Once you got that, you got to threaten that final outlaw. He will tell you the location of the stash. If you do not threaten him and you do not get him to reveal that location, you cannot complete this stash. So we're going to go ahead and just point our gun at him, and eventually through threatening dialogue options, we are going to get him to reveal the stash. Just a heads up, it's always a good idea to create a manual save before you do this, every chapter, every so often. You have a lot of save spots. Please use them. It will come in handy, especially since there are missable trophies in the game. So anyway, there's a few different locations that this stash can be located. This one for me is going to be behind the wall. I'm going to have to remove a plank in order to loot the stash. Again, if you have any issues, make sure you just loot everything. Next, we're going to go to the Aberdeen Pig Farm. And this is actually just north of that previous location at Lonnie's shack, just northeast, just a little bit. And we are going to approach this house, and there's going to be a very large gentleman that we are going to have to initiate dialogue with. And he's going to be sitting there on the porch. Initiate the dialogue, hit L2, and then greet him. He's going to talk for a moment. His wife's going to come out, and they're going to invite you in the house. Once you have the invitation to go into the house, do so. And then we're actually going to exit the house out the back door and go around the side of the building to another room that we can now access to find the stash. This room was not available until after you go into the house. For some reason, I guess the door just magically unlocks. I don't know how it works, but now this door is open. We're going to be able to come in here, open up this little box here, and loot this stash. So the fourth one we're going to go and do is going to be on the eastern side of the map. It's going to be by the trading post. You see right here, the Van Horn trading post is up there, and we're just going to go south of that to the Van Horn mansion. Now this one's a little tricky. This was actually where I got my trophy, my fourth and final one. This one's tricky because this is only available a couple times a week. I had to do about 45 minutes of actually camping, fast forwarding time 18 hours at a time, and it took about 45 minutes to eventually get this to appear. Usually this room is empty. If you come here at the right time during the week, you will see a couple guys, one on the table, one on the floor, and some money on the table. All you need to do is loot this money. Of course, they're going to have a fight here. Now, there is a collectible trading card on the balcony outside in the back of the building, so make sure you kind of loot the entire area. But the stash is right there on the table. But again, it is only there at certain times during the week. You may have to do a lot of time advancement in order to get that one to appear. And there's the breaking and entering trophy for me. But there are 3 more homesteads that you can get the stashes from, so I'm going to go ahead and show you those locations, starting at Catfish Jacksons in the very south part of the this area here on the eastern side. Now there's a home in here, and inside this home there's going to be 2 people. I'm going to go in, I'm going to take out the one guy, and then I'm going to point my gun at the second guy, and he's going to tell me where the stash is. Again, I believe it can be in a couple different locations. If you do not get him to tell you where it's at, you cannot pick up the stash. There's a man and his son. We will take out the older one here. Shoot him in the face. Now again, we are going to threaten. So we're just going to point the gun. We're not going to shoot him. We're going to point the gun and threaten him. He will now tell us where the location is, and apparently it's in the chimney. So I'm going to go to the chimney again. In your game, it may be a little different. Now, for some reason, I can't get the prompt to come up. I think I pick up the weapon off the wall there first. I can now search. So there we go. That is the stash. Now let's go, and we are going to move on to number 6. This is going to be at Watson's, in Watson's cabin. This is actually kind of far back out west, just west, well, not just, but quite a bit west of Valentine, and north of Strawberry. And there's a cabin here. Now this one's not complicated, but there's a couple steps here. You're going to reach this cabin. Inside this cabin, there's going to be a crotchety old lady. We're just going to ignore her for now. We're going to go back. We are going to find a ladder in the back corner here that we can go down that ladder. We're going to go down that ladder and look for a shotgun. We're going to steal that shotgun, and then we are going to leave the house completely all together. So here's the shotgun case. So we'll go ahead and loot this.
What's taking so long down there?
Now, as I promised, we are going to leave the house, so climb back up the ladder here. There's a bunch of other goodies here, so make sure you loot the entire area, especially if you're having issues with the trophy popping.
What the hell you think?
You shouldn't, by the way. I didn't have any issue, but that's just telling you what others have told me. All right, so now we are going to leave the property, and we are going to camp. We have to fast forward an entire day. So we're going to start a fire. I'm going to fast forward time 18 hours twice. And for the essence of time, we are just going to skip past that. Let's just assume I did that twice. We are going to then go run back to that cabin. However, the cabin is now occupied by the woman and her 4 sons. So what you're going to need to do is just take them all out, and you'll be able to pick up the stash out of the lockbox. That's going to be just to the left as we enter. It is a bit of an ambush. Your dead eye is going to come in handy here. There are 4 sons, and then of course the old lady. One is behind the door, it looks like, to the left side. Alright, so anyways, take them all out, all 5 of them, and then on the table, in the kitchen, dining room, living room. Not a very big place. Go ahead, open that up. And then we're going to go to the final one, Willard's Rest. This one's actually going to be seen as a stranger mission initially. And it's going to be in the very top right corner of the map. You're going to see a stranger mission icon. So we are going to talk to this old lady. She's grieving the death of her husband. You will find her not in her house or outside her house, but down the hill here. And she's going to be at the gravesite of her husband. Unfortunately, with her husband gone, she has no way to take care of herself or feed herself. So we're going to come down here, and you're going to take her out and teach her how to hunt. You're going to shoot something, she's going to skin the animal, and you guys are going to walk at the end of this mission back to her house. So it's a bit of a process, about a 5-minute ordeal. So eventually you're going to walk her back to her house. You're going to now have to fast forward time 2 full days. So it's going to take you about 10 minutes of real time. You can advance, when you do a camp, you can advance 18 hours and then sleep again for another 18 hours. But it's going to take about 10 more minutes before the game allows you to do it another time. So 2 days later, I've advanced 18 hours twice. You return to her home, and you're going to see the crazy lady here trying to shoot a gun. She's not very good at it. So you, again, being the gentleman that you are going to teach her how to shoot a rifle. After that whole sequence is done, she'll invite you into the house. She will now make some rabbit soup that you helped acquire for her.
Well, it's good and hot.
So go ahead, sit down at
you
the
enjoy
table. There's going to be a
You
little
helped me catch
cutscene
it
here.
after
You can
all.
skip it if you'd like, which I just did. And then you're going to get out of her bed, and you'll see the lockbox just to your right. It's on this nightstand. You can now loot that. And that, my friends, is the 7th and final homestead that you can recover the stashes from. Doing 4 of those will earn you the breaking and entering trophy. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe.